What is the most heartbreaking thing a child has said to you? My daughter is very much a daddy's girl. In her eyes, her father is a superhero. In reality, he's a mentally ill, cruel substance user. At the time, my children and I had been separated from my ex-husband for 8 months. He was still seeing the kids on the weekends after our separation, but would occasionally cancel at the last minute with the excuse that he had to work late. For the most part, he was a responsible parent, never using substances on the weekends that he had them. On this particular day, he had promised our 4-year-old daughter that he would take her to see Beauty and the Beast later that evening. Belle is her favorite princess, and she was so excited to have a night with her daddy, just the two of them, watching her favorite character on the big screen. She insisted on wearing her Halloween costume, which consisted of the glamorous, sparkling, yellow ball gown that Belle is famous for, and a beautiful, gold tiara. She wanted her hair styled to resemble Belle's, as well. I helped her into her gown, and we had so much fun curling her hair. The excitement that she was feeling was just pouring out of her tiny body. Every few minutes she would ask, "Is Daddy coming yet?" As the time grew closer to their movie date, I called the ex to ask what time he was expected to arrive. No answer. My gut was telling me how the night was going to end. I had flashbacks of my married life, spending my birthdays alone, hoping he'd come walking through the door. However, for my little girl's sake, I remained positive. I gave her father the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was tied up at work and couldn't answer his phone. After sending a few text messages to remind him of the plans that he made with our daughter, I called again. This time it went immediately to voicemail. I looked at my daughter, who was twirling around the living room in her beautiful gown, her smile glowing. My tummy was doing acrobatics as I thought to myself, he would never do this to his baby girl. To me, yes. But to her? Never. It became dark outside. My baby's excitement was slowly diminishing. Her glowing eyes became sad, yet anxious at the same time. Where's my daddy? When is he picking me up? I sat her down on the dining room chair and gently explained that her dad isn't answering his phone and that they may need to reschedule. Tears exploded. The disappointment that she was feeling broke my heart to pieces. I tried to remain hopeful, but I knew it was a wasted effort. I gave her a big hug, and lied to her, telling her that Daddy probably had to work late. I knew the truth, it was payday, and he was most likely out partying. But how do you tell a 4-year-old that? She continued to sob quietly to herself, not moving from the chair. She asked me to leave her be, so I walked to the kitchen and composed a text to him, telling him about what an awful thing he had done, and that his daughter was in tears. Her quiet sobs were growing into angry wails. She came into the kitchen and stomped her tiny, gold, glittery foot. "This is the worst life ever." She repeated it over and over again while wrapping her little arms around my leg. I saw glimpses of the future as I consoled her. A 4-year-old should never feel that kind of pain, especially from a parent, but that is what was happening, right there in my kitchen. She pulled away from my leg and looked up at me with her teary eyes. "Daddy is still coming for me. I know it." With that, she walked back to the dining room and sat in the same chair. I tried to talk her into changing out of her dress and into her pajamas. She refused, still convinced that her father was coming, despite the fact that it was growing close to 10 p.m. She began repeating those words again, this time in a whisper. "This is the worst life ever." She eventually fell asleep, laying across 2 dining room chairs. She deserves better.